Hello and welcome to the Foilist TV. In the last video, we talked about the basics of foil fencing. Now, let's discuss technique. Fencing has two broad technical aspects, footwork and bladework. Footwork is pretty straightforward. A step forward is called an advance. A step backward is called a retreat. And a lunge is pretty self-explanatory. Footwork is critical though, because it controls the single most important variable in all of fencing, namely the distance between you and your opponent. Every fencing action depends on distance to turn a light on. You can have the best blade work in the world, but if your footwork is bad and your distance is wrong, you will never score. Most high-level fencing is decided by which fencer can control the distance better. When we analyze the Rio bouts, distance will be the most common consideration. Blade work is a bit more complicated. There are two broad categories of blade action: offensive ones, which are meant to hit your opponent, and defensive ones, which are meant to keep you from getting hit. On the offensive side, the most basic action is just extending the arm to hit. There's also a feint, or a false action to draw an opponent's reaction. A beat is when you hit your opponent's blade to knock it aside before you hit. There's also a slew of actions that allow you to avoid an opponent's attempted parry, including the disengage and the coupe. At the more advanced level, there's the flick, which takes advantage of the foil's flexibility to land a touch on an oblique surface of the opponent's target, such as the back. On the defensive side, we have the parries. They're numbered from 1 to 9, but the most common ones are 4, 6, 7, and 8. Parrying is very useful, not only because it keeps you from getting hit, but because it also gives you the right of way. If you parry your opponent's blade and then you both hit, you will get the touch, every time. Blade work is critical, because you literally can't hit your opponent without it. You can have the best footwork in the world, but if your blade work is bad and you can't find the target, you will never get the touch. When we analyze the Rio bouts, blade work will also be a main concern. Though it's often hard to follow because it's so fast, keeping track of the blades is necessary to understand the right of way. I think that'll be all you need to know about fencing in order to understand my analysis of the men's foil bouts at Rio. If I missed something major, just yell at me in the comments and I'll do my best to fix it. Stay tuned for more content, stay hyped for Rio, and as always, stay sharp.